let's return to our top story, and that is the resignation of the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Arise chief correspondent John Cookson has been reporting live at Downing Street all day for us. John, welcome. What did you make of that resignation speech? There didn't appear to be much contrition or any even acknowledgement of potential mistakes he's made.
No, that's right. Good evening, Anil. Good to see you. Well, that resignation speech earlier today, 6 minutes long in duration. I've seen many emotional speeches here in Downing Street over the years. This one, though, to me was very matter of fact, without emotion from Boris Johnson. He said that he was very sad to be stepping down from the best job in the world. He promised that for future Conservative Party government will promise a golden future to the people of the United Kingdom. He pledged support for Ukraine for as long as it takes, he said. Incidentally, they've been crying in the streets of Kiev tonight, and one Ukrainian newspaper has a headline with Boris's face on it saying "immortal." This, of course, a reference to the amount of support that Boris Johnson in particular has given to Ukraine in its battle with Russia. You're right, there was not an acknowledgement of past mistakes, Partygate and all this sex scandals and other things that bedogged this government, but you know, he was never going to do that, I think, on this day, saying he's stepping down. Because these kind of speeches tend to be used in news broadcasts and documentaries in the future, and I think Prime Ministers are very much aware of legacies, and one can argue about what Johnson's legacies are, but certainly he wasn't going to acknowledge mistakes today, Anil.
And we heard that he seemed to have basically set his own timetable for his departure. But will he be able to leave on his own terms? Will Labour force a vote of no confidence?
Well, he said he will step down as Prime Minister in October, and there is precedent for this. David Cameron and Theresa May stayed on for a couple of months when they stepped down. But will the Labour Party allow that to happen? Because they sense blood. Keir Starmer saying earlier today that he's planning to force a vote of no confidence in the House of Commons in the next week or so. Now, it's certainly a possibility that the Conservatives and Boris Johnson will lose that vote of confidence, but if that happens, I understand constitutionally and politically there has to be a general election within 14 days of that, and I'm just wondering whether the Labour Party is ready for a general election in say a month from now. Could they win it? Certainly all the polls say that they can't win it outright, Anil, and they'd have to form a coalition with some of the other minority parties. So it's a difficult question for Sir Keir Starmer. He's threatened to do it, but whether he'll actually do that, we'll have to wait and see.
And we spoke earlier to Lord John Taylor and got his thoughts of that speech, resignation speech. He believes that Boris Johnson should just leave very soon. What are you hearing from Tory MPs about what they've made, not only of today's speech, but of the last 48 hours and the way he really dug his heels in?
Well, former Prime Minister Sir John Major said that Boris Johnson should go now, and for a senior party figure to say that's something quite profound. My sense of it, though, is that even though a number of Tory MPs would like him to step down, and certainly Labour would right now, I'm just wondering whether it's in Boris Johnson's nature. We've seen in the last few days how he's clung on despite mass resignations in government. Again, my sense of it is that he won't go easily, and he won't step down as Prime Minister, that is. And
we know he's made some new appointments and some replacements, but there's been more than 50 MPs resign from the government. How can the business of government actually function with so many absences? Can it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it really is chaos in Whitehall at the moment with so many resignations. It's difficult to understand how government can function on a day-to-day basis. He has appointed a cabinet today, you're right, but that's not enough. I mean, so many junior ministers have gone. One has to wonder how that shortfall is going to be made up, and that the country can continue to function, especially with so many civil servants still working from home, and a backlog on issues like passports and other things that have been dogged the British public for the last month or so because of the effects of COVID and people working from home. So the country is in a mess, and there's a cost of living crisis to deal with for any future leader. There's the war in Ukraine that we've mentioned, and COVID is making a revival in this country at the moment. So many big issues to be sorted out. It really needs a steady hand on the tiller, as it were.
Certainly does. Arise chief correspondent John Cookson reporting from outside 10 Downing Street. Thank you.